Hello everyone, CKH here, and welcome back to Adobe Premiere. So last time we went over very basic in and out editing, as well as just very basic concepts of editing. Today we're going to dive into it a little bit deeper with audio and some more keyboard shortcuts. So, as you can see, we got our TF2 thing from last time. This might not be the same thing, but whatever, it's still the same thing. Now, we want to put some audio on this to make it, like say we want some background music here. Now the first thing you might notice is that there's no waveform on the audio, and this can make it a little bit difficult to really see where everything is. So what you need to do, put your mouse cursor over where it says A1 or whatever the audio track is for you, and then simply scroll up. And there you go, your audio track is coming up. Look at that. So now you can kind of see where the peak audio gets loud. Like in this is because I'm shooting guns or whatever. You can kind of see where it gets quieter. You can see where it gets louder, and it's really cool. Works out really well. This is going to be, if you see one peak that's really high, then your audio is really loud there. In case you don't know, the lower the peak is here, the higher the audio is. And these are your left and right channel. In a stereo setting, these both should be equal, which means they're coming out equally on both sides. So before we get into actually putting new music in, let's just edit this a little bit. Let's say you wanted to, go here and, let's say everything's selected. Let's unselect this stuff. We just want this audio track right here. So we're going to right click this, and we're going to do two things. We're going to normalize the audio and make it all go into the right channel. Let's just say we want to do this. So we're going to go audio gain. And we're going to come down here to where it says normalize max peak. We're going to check this, and then this is going to be very determined about what you have. So normalizing audio basically brings the average peak height to whatever number you put in. Normally you don't want this over 0, because if you makes it over 0, it gets really high. So I normally for voice, I have to put -6, and as you can see, it brought this down a lot. Now, that's just a thing. Yours might be different, but it really depends on whatever your audio is. But my recommendation is to kind of mess around with it and figure out really what audio setting is best for you. Control-Z is your best friend when it comes to editing. And just show you what it is, audio gain, we're going to go to audio channels. And here, it says source channel is the left, and the track audio 1. Channel 1 track. If you want to turn off, let's turn off the right channel for whatever reason you want to. You can see this all got really big, and now it's all in the left channel. You can see a little bit down here. So for whatever reason you wanted it to be in the left channel, if you wanted to make a sound mix or something, that's how you do it. But we're not going to do that. We're going to Control-Z. So what we want is to put music over this footage. Now we're going to delete these tracks, and there you go. So now this whole thing is muted. What we're going to do here, I have this song in here. It's just something I downloaded off YouTube. So I have this track up in my source monitor. So I'm going to press home to go to the very beginning of the track. And you import audio the same way you import video. So I'm going to press I. Oh, sorry, not import. Well, you import audio the same way as you import video. You also put it onto the timeline the same. So I'm going to press I to put an in point, and then press N to go to the end of the audio track, and press O to make an out point. So now I have the whole track selected. I'm going to go down here to the timeline. I'm going to press home to put it at the beginning of the timeline track, and I'm going to press period to put the track down. And obviously this track isn't long enough to cover the whole thing, but for our purposes it works. We're going to go down here. We're going to press space to play. And as you can see, this audio is pretty loud. So what we're going to do, go down here, and what you can do is just kind of, this line in the center, you can click and hold, and you can drag it down, up and down. It's pretty self-explanatory, but wherever the line is, that's how loud the audio is going to be. So if I put it all the way down here, it's pretty damn quiet. You can put it all the way down, and it's muted. And you can bring it all the way up, and it gets really loud if you want. But what you can also do is something called keyframe editing. So you hold Control and you click on the line, and you got a keyframe. Now keyframes control the audio levels at the specific frame they're at in terms of audio editing. Keyframes are also used very heavily in effect editing and other various parts of Adobe products. Oh, there's the autosave. Good. Turn on autosave because it is pretty helpful. And so let's say we want the max peak to be where the cursor is right now. So we're going to Control click there, and I'm going to click the first keyframe, and I'm going to drag it down. And you can kind of move this around. So I'm going to click it and drag it to the very beginning of the clip. So now the line is kind of diagonally crooked. You see that? So I'm going to press home to go back. And what this is going to do is going to make the volume of the track go louder as it gets closer to this keyframe. So every frame, the volume's going to be increasing a little bit. And you kind of see that if you hold Alt and use your mouse wheel to zoom in, the track gets a little bit bigger. And you can kind of see how the line's going up as it gets louder and louder. So once it reaches this point, this is the max volume you want it to be. So it's what's it set to? -11, I think? Yeah, -11. -0.11, sorry. And so you can kind of do the same thing to fade out. You hold Control, click, and you can drag it down. There you go. So now you have it goes up, up, up till it reaches the point, and goes down, down, down until it gets to that point. And now I have it set to 0. So that's the basics of just editing for this is simply just putting a music track over a video with no sound. So I think that's about it for just the very basics of audio editing. This is covering putting the audio on the track, mixing around with the volume a little bit. So this is going to be, so if you use the techniques together, you can get you can edit to the beat. So you zoom in down, and you can kind of see the beat of the track I have here. So you see how the peaks are pretty much evenly apart. That's the beat of the music. So if you want to edit to the beat of a track, you basically make your cuts on the highest point of each rising of the waveform. And one thing I didn't talk about last time is the razor tool over here on the side. So you can click that or press C on your keyboard. And what the razor tool does is the razor tool, first of all, is a throwback to old school editing where you actually had to use a razor to cut film. Obviously, what we have now is a lot easier than that. You don't have to do that anymore. So the razor tool, you simply just, I don't know, let's click here. And you see that? We're going to go back to the pointer tool, or V. And now I have two separate audio tracks. This is the same track. It's cut on a specific frame I told it to with a razor tool. Now I can move that around. You see the gap? Control Z. So the razor tool is good for if you want to cut a specific part out, you want to split tracks in a certain spot to maybe put an effect on one part of the clip and not another part. It's a pretty neat tool to use, and I forgot to mention that in the last tutorial. So that's about it for this audio tutorial. Again, if there's anything you want me to cover, feel free to let me know in the comments below or tweet me at CKHGaming. And leave a like if you liked it, and if you didn't, dislike it. Alright, thank you guys. I will see you later.